Okay, so Incubus is a song where this musician, and I have to say musician because I have been able to hear this artist live, and without a doubt, I have to say that this artist is extremely talented. Vocally, she can fill a room, and the emotions throughout her songs and her lyrics are crazy. And so Incubus, when it came out, I think a lot of people overlooked it, but it's such an honor to introduce the song Incubus and talk about it in a review, which I think is extremely rare, right? Because I've seen this artist grow every time she's made music, from when she did. When actually, I'm talking about when she did the song "Glass" on her own EP, which just blows my mind that that wasn't so long ago. To be then release a single is Incubus is amazing to me. I think that just shows her work ethic, but it also shows her ability to write the way that she does. This artist has also collabed with many artists this year on albums, and I think that shows her diversity. The new single is called Incubus, and the artist is Mikki Brayboy or Michaela Brayboy, whichever one. Artist has so many different names, but overall, the work that she puts into California and Glass, I I, I was expecting a lot going into the song, and I wasn't disappointed. I think that's what people worry about when they hear artists that they've heard live. Well, maybe they're not, but Lord, I can go another 3 hour, a 3 hour discussion on this artist, but this artist is amazing. The song is 3 minutes and 5 seconds long, and there are a few things I need to say before I really get into talk about the song. Firstly, firstly, the person in control of that guitar to have that guitar solo at the end where there's a bunch of ripples. I like that. I like the way that was designed. The guy that controlled the drums, guy or girl that controlled the drums, where you get the little kick at the very middle of the song to bring us back into the song after that pause. Brilliant. Artist, her voice is always amazing. It always carries throughout the whole track. I think without a doubt, a very good artist you should listen to. But I think it's time that we really talk about the lyrics because people are like you can go on about the percussion stuff like this for days, right? So back to the music. She says, "I can't get away from you. I can't get away from you." Um, and you crawl through. And I have to explain Incubus, depending on how she decided to use this, is known for many definitions. One being the older term for what people used to call a nightmare, which could make sense in some of these lyrics where she says, "You're dangerous. You're so dangerous. You take my interest. You take my interest and leave it empty." Right? And so this idea that when I hear it, I'm like, okay, so she's talking about love, right? And how when you fall in love with somebody, they all have the same interests, but then when you're gone, I don't have it anymore, right? Like, that's the idea that I'm getting throughout this song. She says, "Now it's you're my enemy, my friend and my enemy," which I think, which makes me think this is more of a love song. However, when you look the song up, it says alternative rock or rock. And I think that's solely because of the guitars, the drums, and the way she just presents everything on this track. And that I love that these three individuals are always working together because it sounds amazing to hear the final product. That it does. She says, "Now my friend of me had me under a spell," which I think this is like nightmare love kind of thing. And she just says the crimson red, and I think crimson red refers to the devil or a bad or a bad or like a bad person. Necessarily, it doesn't have to be male, but it could be male, female. Which really explains a lot. But also, I forgot to mention this. The other definition is just like an evil spirit. Yeah, just an evil spirit or somebody that wants to cause distress, or anxiety, which, as I'm saying, is like a nightmare for some people. I think that's the truth. It's if you ask a few people what is like their worst nightmares, and they might actually give you this dream. But she says you can't come around again because you've took on my interest, and every time you come around, I feel emptiness. And I think that's the thing. I connect with this song a little bit, but it's also every time you come around, you can't do it no more because you're stealing my happiness, my shine. And I can't see I'm busy trying to make money. That's what I think is like a bad relationship or like a nightmare of not having enough, which this artist is very talented, so I doubt it's, about not having enough. But, people come into your lives that are not necessarily are necessarily for seasons, not necessarily for months. And because she says, "Ooh, you're so dangerous. You could steal my interest. You become my frenemy, my incubus," which I like that she sings it out. She says, "I could never even let you in because you take my innocence." Which I think that hits extremely deep to me because it's the fact that pureness, innocence, it relates to so many different things, like purity of the next step of trying a certain thing in their life. I think that's what a lot of people try, especially in like in their 20s, or early teens. Like you just try new things and understanding, and that's what she says. "Ooh, you're so dangerous," and I think got me thinking with regrets of how, like, was it a good thing or a bad thing? I think that's just like this is a great way to explain like your 20s or your teenage years. Like this is the best way to explain it because she says got me thinking about all the regrets that I would have made, or if I made them. Just the song overall is very powerful. I think the way you interpret this song interprets how you feel about it, but I think overall the way that she is able to talk about so many topics but also guide you, that's rare. That's very rare, especially in rock. But in alternative music, I think a lot of people should I would recommend a lot of alternative music for a lot of people if they're just looking for something to better understand themselves or better understand their environment. Like I think that is the best way, is to find alternative music that you like, and no matter if this is alternative rock, pop, this is a good song, and it's just because there's so many different ideas or so many different interpretations you can make from this that it really does help you in a lot of different situations, and I'm happy she released it. It's amazing to hear it though. Like I think, now I'm not saying I heard anything before it was released, but I think that is amazing. The cover for itself, like the soul leaving the body with the green, I like that. I do. But the fact that you can interpret this your own way and it has so many different stories to it, is why I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 just because of how you can interpret this many different ways and it can help you in many different situations. With that being said, hope you enjoyed this episode.